next topic of discussion resulted from this particular comment that was emailed to us from a senior HR leader. Because we want to make sure that we are there for our employees, yet we have many other HR responsibilities on our shoulders, we recently made a decision to move from an in-house relocation program to an outsource managed program. We feel we made the right decision. Can others share what they expect from their RMC? And do we expect too much or not enough? So when I saw this particular question, I reached out to Jenna Mcdonough, who's the SVP and Director of Human Resources at 22 Squared, along with Ginger Merrick, who happens to be Senior Global Mobility Consultant with Interlink today. They both have experience in this area. So I was hoping that you would discuss creating the dependable partnership of the RMC. So Ginger and Jenny, thank you both.
Thanks, Beverly.
Thank you, Beverly. It's really nice to hear everyone's comments today, and I've learned a lot already. But as we mentioned, in many organizations, when it comes to managing relocation, it's typically an individual in HR that's tasked with handling some administrative aspects of the move and the benefits. And the challenge for that HR pro is that on top of it being just a little bit of their job historically, it was something that they just didn't have the time for, the expertise, or the supply chain. And so the importance of picking the right size truck for your move is really important. And the same thing goes to picking the right RMC for your company. It's a critical decision. And so since the supplier relationship can be just primarily transactional, when you reach out when you need something, a partnership, though, is more value added, and it moves you towards being part of the strategizing and deliberating before, after, and during the service. So today, Jenny and I are going to explore a few of the advantages of creating a strong relocation mobility partnership with your RMC, and how the RMC then in turn supports their clients and ultimately the transferees. So to start, let's talk about creating a strong partnership with a supplier. Jenny, when it comes to building trust and understanding with your RMC, what do you believe are the critical elements for making this happen? And for you, how has trust evolved?
Well, thank you so much, Beverly and Ginger, for giving me this opportunity today. Let me just explain a little bit about maybe the size that we are at 22 Squared. We've got 400 employees. We are primarily in Atlanta and Tampa. We are an advertising agency, so we do a lot of production, social media, website developments. We have creatives, we have producers, we have editors, shooters, creative talent. The only thing we sell is the time and talent of our people. So the employee experience is critical, and we are competing with a lot of other advertising and social media and marketing companies across the United States. So it's super important, the white glove service that we want to provide to our employees. It could be the difference in whether or not they choose to accept our offer or they accept a competing offer from another organization. So while we have 400 employees, we don't have an HR or a finance staff that's large enough to also have a mobility department. As Ginger was saying, we don't have the ability to be experts in tax codes and what's taxable and what's an allowable expense and what's not, and managing all of those expenses in and out. So we couldn't do what we do from a relocation standpoint without a partner who can advise us and direct us, and also provide that level of experience and explanation and education to the candidates. So I think developing that great partnership is really making sure that our partner understands our culture, understands the experience that we want to provide to our employees or our new candidates who've just accepted offers. That's usually when we reload people. Occasionally we're transitioning somebody between offices, transferring them, but usually it's a new hire. So our partner has to be an extension of our team, and they are setting a tone for how they're going to be treated as a new hire for our organization.
Thank you. So what are the differences that you see from handling the relocation in-house to having the support from an RMC? And how do you think this support makes the relocation work simpler for you?
One of the key things that has been beneficial that our partner helped us create are the tiered packages. And as we have a challenge with something, having a partner who's been through it before with other organization and providing us that experience, or if our partner sees that something's not going smoothly, helping us work out a better process, a better policy. So we put in place a couple of years ago tiered policies for different levels of employee. And somebody asked a question earlier about how do you get over the lump sum and the employee just wanting to take the money as a sign-on versus working through the mobility partner. And I would say having an RMC that helped us through that very challenge. We've had the same situation, but we've now put into our offer letter that this is up to a certain amount, a relocation at a tier. And then you will work with our partner, and our partner's name is in our offer letter. So they know, the candidate knows in writing that this is a relocation allowance. It's not a lump sum. If we're going to give somebody a signing bonus, our offer letter state this is a signing bonus and how it'll be taxed. And our partner helped us solve those problems. So now we've gotten to a place where those things are in our offer letters. Our partner does talk with our hiring managers to understand what are the challenges they're facing, and they help us overcome those things so that our candidate has the great experience, that the best experience we can provide.
Thank you. What was the value you think you've received from the RMC to be able to deliver the technology and leveraging their supply chain? Have you had feedback? Have you looked at the numbers and said we're spending less, more in a better way, or how does that work for you?
What we found with our talent is they don't know. they might initially think they're going to get the best deal, but they're also trying to pack. They're trying to figure out schools for their children. They're trying to find a home in the location. That doesn't necessarily, doing that all themselves usually does not provide the best chance for them to focus on getting ready to start their new job with us. We want them to feel like they are so taken care of. Somebody else can think about all those things. Somebody else can get them quotes. There is somebody there who's going to help them through every phase and manage their expectations and help them understand what to expect and what to prepare for and what to think about, rather than them having to do that on their own. So if they are moving as a single or they're moving as a family of 10, having that assistance either way, we provide them with the level of assistance that they would need. And then our partner really walks them through everything they need to think about. We would never, our small team of HR and finance would never have the amount of time to invest in educating our candidates as to what they need for the totality of their move and what's included and what's allowable and what's taxable and what's not. So having partners who are up to date on all those things really matters to us.
And do you know what's interesting that you're interjecting, Jenny? And I think we even heard this earlier, that whether you have 400 employees or whether you have 200,000 employees, like maybe a Coca-Cola, the reality is that all of the department sizes correlate with what you're managing in-house. And whether a smaller organization feels that they can handle relocation on their shoulders when in fact they don't have the ability to hire the expertise unless you outsource, that's a proof statement. So I just wanted to interject. And Ginger, were there any other questions?
Well, I'll add too to that, Beverly, and to just about is it more expensive or less? Have you found it, that the value is worth it? Um, I have done this before at another agency where we had to manage it in-house, and it usually becomes a lot more expensive in our time or an expense, and we've lost the talent that took us so long because they had a rocky experience with the move, or it took them a lot longer to get onboarded because they were dealing with all of the residual tag along things of their move, their expenses, trying to figure out their taxes. And that became a really bad experience. So it's going to cost in the long run with that person getting up to speed and getting started as quickly as possible on the job we had available for them.
Yeah, and with, COVID, real estate is an essential service, right? And so, but it's definitely not business as usual. People are relying on the RMCs to come forward in their supply chain to communicate, look, we're going to move you. We know this is a crazy time to move, but we've got things in place. We're going to keep you safe. We're going to keep our workers safe. And this is how we're going to do it throughout the supply chain. And also, here's the flexibility of maybe strategy of you may not want to go right now, or you may want to postpone that trip in a different way or think of it differently. So, it's really, again, back to that trust and partnership and the RMC coming forward with, not just saying no. We said no 27 times today. It's to solve the problem. What can we do to innovate and bring forward solutions that get your people where they need to be, but also safely? And so it's really, the partnership for me is really when, you're talking to an RMC and you're talking strategy, what can we do from the policy, but also, you're not hearing them sell to you. It's really about how can we service you? How can we be that extension of your HR team? And so do you feel, and do you have any last thoughts about what's going on with your company and remote working? Are you going to come back? What's the plan for you all?
We've told our employees that we will not be returning to work face-to-face before June of next year. So we made the decision and we told our employees that 2 months ago that we won't even consider face-to-face until June. It's been very interesting that our productivity is actually up about 17% over this time last year because our employees are able to do so much from home. The hardest part for us has been we can't get filming permits. It's very difficult to do productions at the same scale that we did before for broadcast TV shoots and things like that. So we've had to be using our technology to create the things that we normally would have gone out and actually filmed. So it's been unique set of very quick adaptations over the last couple of months to pivot our business to a very virtual, but because people don't have commutes and because they are able to work from anywhere, our challenge has been more on the burnout factor and trying to help employees create boundaries for they're always on. Really encouraging them to shut it off, close it down, have some boundary with response times and things so that we don't burn people out. But we've been able to.
The wellness is an important factor of it. That's what HR does best is they take governance over their people.
We've done a lot of mental health sessions and that's where we want to focus our time. And we love having a partner in mobility who has the experience from working with multiple employers, and they can bring their experience to inform us and help us give our best experience to